Ordinary folks who became rich. Cleaners, school teachers, and secretaries aren't known for making huge amounts, but with a little assistance from wise investments and savvy saving, some ordinary individuals may become multimillionaires. In stark contrast to the flamboyant displays of riches and spontaneous purchases that we generally associate with the freshly minted, these millionaires lived so frugally and were so quiet about their money that even their closest friends and relatives were unaware of how much they had. In today's video, we'll talk about how some ordinary folks became rich. Stay with me till the end of the video if you don't want to miss out on anything. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1. The smart secretary who was worth millions of dollars. Sylvia Bloom, a 96-year-old Brooklyn resident, died leaving behind a $9 million fortune. However, the former secretary's relatives and close acquaintances, as well as her husband, had no idea how affluent she was. So how did she become so wealthy? Bloom had worked as a secretary at a law company for 67 years, studying the investments of the lawyers she served and making modest purchases of the same stocks for herself. She surreptitiously amassed millions of dollars in this manner over the years. As a result, some have questioned her strategy's credibility. While not legally criminal, utilizing sensitive information about her co-workers' assets for personal advantage is a bit of a murky area. Nonetheless, when she contributed a sizable $6.24 million portion of her legacy to Henry Street Settlement's college program, which assists disadvantaged youngsters in preparing for college, it was evident the money was going to a worthwhile purpose. Number 2. The couple who gave their assets to Warren Buffett. When it comes to making money, having a friend like Warren Buffett on hand to assist you to make excellent decisions is usually a good idea. That was the case with Donald and Mildred Othmer, who left a hefty $750 million estate when they died. The two Omaha residents only made one straightforward investment, $25,000 apiece, into a partnership operated by Buffett, which allowed them to convert it into Berkshire Hathaway stock. This $50,000 investment grew until they had $750 million. The modest couple bequeathed most of their income to charity, spreading it among several universities and institutions. Number 3. The secretary who made one great investment. Grace Groner, another astute secretary who carefully invested, bequeathed a whopping $7 million to her old institution, Lake Forest College in Illinois, when she died at the age of 100. The secret billionaire who had an ordinary life, living in a one-bedroom apartment and working as a secretary her whole life, without a spouse or children. What about her enormous wealth? Groner wisely invested in stocks and shares, enabling compound interest to accumulate on her assets. The money was deposited into a foundation created before her death to aid students at Lake Forest College with independent study, internships, and overseas study. Number 4. The millionaire shopkeeper. Leonard Gigowski, a grocery store owner known for being restrained and thrifty, bequeathed a whopping $30 million in a scholarship fund to students at his Alma school, St. Thomas More High School, following his death. The humble billionaire was a devout Catholic who spent the majority of his life owning a grocery store in Milwaukee's Merrill Park. Much of his wealth came from stock that he'd invested in and kept for a long period. Gigowski's friends regarded him as frugal. He seldom went on vacation and would leap at the chance to get a good deal. He wanted to save money and donate it to individuals less fortunate than himself, a buddy remarked of him. Number 5. The prudent teacher who gave a fortune to charity. Margaret Southern was a special education teacher who lived in a small townhouse in Greenville and drove an ancient Cadillac from the 1980s. When she died in 2012 at the age of 94, no one anticipated her to leave behind a hefty $8.4 million fortune. Her fortune was mostly derived from stock options that her husband left behind when he died in 1983. She amassed a sizable fortune by adding to her shares throughout the years that followed. The kind educator, however, was not one to splurge on luxury, so she left half of her inheritance to the Greenville Humane Society and the other half to the Community Foundation of Greenville. Number 6. The janitor who turned out to be a multimillionaire. Ronald Reed, a Vermont-based cleaner, may not have had a lot of money from his day job, but he was a savvy investor who secretly created an $8 million fortune during his career. His family was astounded to learn about his fortune. He was a diligent worker, but I don't think anybody had any notion that he was a multimillionaire, stepson Philip Brown told the local press in 2015. Reed's thrifty nature aided him. He allegedly drove a used automobile and chopped his firewood. His astute investments included Procter & Gamble, J.B. Morgan Chase, General Electric, and Johnson & Johnson. When he died in 2015 at the age of 92, he owned at least 95 stocks and bequeathed more than half of his money to Brattleboro Memorial Hospital. Number 7. Julie Broad and David Pennywick invested in real estate. Julie Broad and her husband David Pennywick bought their first home with only $16,000 in their bank account. The pair was able to become billionaires in just 7 years. This, according to Julie, is something that everyone can do. If you've got $16,000 to invest, like I had 7 years ago, you can purchase $16,000 worth of equities and bonds, she claims. However, if you buy real estate, you may purchase a $160,000 property, which is exactly what I did. While some stock investors can buy on margin, putting down a fraction of the company's value, this is a complex and high-risk move that only experienced stock investors normally do. If your stocks increase in value by 5%, you'll have profited $800. But if your property increases by 5%, you've profited $8,000. This is all based on the same $16,000 investment. This does not even begin to address the numerous methods to profit from real estate. Since then, the pair has launched the website RevNU, where they're assisting people in realizing their aspirations of success in the real estate industry. Number 8. Tim Grittani cashed in on penny stocks. Tim Grittani invested $1,500 of his life savings in penny stocks in 2010, which are small stocks of small companies with a market value of less than $1. I've been trading every single day for nearly 3 years, and it's been a slow day-to-day process, Grittani explained to CNN Money in 2013. Investors in penny stocks should be prepared to lose their whole investment, he said. Grittani, on the other hand, was fortunate enough to turn a little investment into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. Grittani now shares his knowledge and advice on his blog, Trade the Ticker. Thank you for staying with me till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and share the video. You can leave your questions and thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when we add new videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.